good right now. If y'all can hear me.
Can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're doing it. We're actually recording it this time. I wanted to test this feature out because my mom and I we bought this StreamYard thing, and it comes with broadcasting, thumbnail stuff, but also recording. So that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so hello everyone. We're gonna actually do a discussion breaking down the years of the 1980s, basically rocking the 80s. So obviously the year to start the 80s is the year 1980, and
Seems like a good starting point.
it was. It obviously we know what film came out this year, but we'll get to that in a sec. This was a lot of stuff was going on. I know Ronald Reagan was elected. I think he was elected that year.
Yep.
But in the entertainment realm, we were getting out of the 70s and we were getting into the 80s, and it would be a bright future from there on. So I guess who wants to go first on a specific entertainment thing? Movies or TV shows that came out in 1980? I have a list, but does anybody want to start first? And maybe we could go into a little detail about it.
Of 1980.
Yeah, just
specifically 1980.
Yeah, we're breaking it year by year by year.
Should we start? How should we start? Music, movie.
Oh yeah, I didn't think to look up a list of music.
I guess we can start with the Well, you had the assassination of John Lennon, so that was a
No, that was 80.
that was a big deal musically, and to start the decade off,
Yeah.
there goes the top-notch Beatle.
That was
Yeah, it didn't look like a good start for music, but luckily, and it's kind of funny because 1980 and really even 81 are, to me, not really 80s yet as far as music goes. It was still kind of you really hadn't got like that new wave poppy sound in yet.
Yeah,
like Ha-Ha with
right,
and Duran
right.
Duran.
But it was technically the beginning. I mean, we were getting out of the 70s.
Well, technically it was, but I'm saying like all the 80s stereotypes or like personifications that you think in 80s music, I don't think it was too major yet as far as 1980 goes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't even. I mean, who would have been a big star in 80? Cinema? Do you know? I mean, Rod Stewart or.
Well, Billy Joel. I was just looking at a list of popular songs for like singles from the 1980 specifically, and Billy Joel, Air Supply is coming up. Elton John, Diana Ross.
Well, it seems like a lot of people from the like a lot.
Olivia Newton-John, Michael Jackson had his single "Rock with You." That was number 4 of the top 100. Jermaine Jackson, Kenny Rogers.
Yeah.
So just a bunch of different names that you recognize. I mean, like Stevie Wonder, Kool and the Gang.
I'm just saying, like a lot of those people had been around. I'm saying you really
already around,
right. You didn't hit that new wave of people like Madonna and Duran Duran,
right, and A-ha
until late, like that synth sound when you think of the 80s.
Yes,
it hadn't got there yet.
No, not quite yet. No.
Yeah, obviously it was the 80s, but
so I guess we could get this one crazy film out of the way. Who here has seen Airplane?
I've seen it.
Yeah,
I've only saw part of it when it was on television a long time ago.
For me.
I know it's not for you. I mean, I know it's ridiculous, but oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. All I was going to say is I wanted to go see it we were going to have it in theaters a couple months ago.
Oh, for the Comeback Classics?
Yeah, and then COVID hit. This was like March.
It was supposed to come back to the theaters?
Yeah, I believe so. It was like early, I think it was like March or May.
Oh, wow.
Come back. And that's right when COVID.
Quick thing. Speaking of 19, let's just remember that was 40 years ago this year.
Wow.
We're talking 40th anniversaries here also.
That's terrible.
That's funny.
Yeah.
40.
Well,
Lord.
So 40th anniversary.
I know Airplane has that 70s vibe, but since it came out in 1980, count that. And it's so for people that have not seen it, when they're watching this video, Airplane, they're basically on this airplane and just some crazy stuff happen. I don't know much of the plot. I just know there's
puns and hijinks and Leslie Nielsen again. Leslie,
yeah. Leslie Nielsen
and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's in there just for fun.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's not my favorite movie.
Sorry, was that the one where originally it was supposed to be serious and they couldn't get the film to be like the right feel, so they made it into a comedy?
You might be right about that. I'm
interesting.
It was part of the disaster films of the 70s, and then it got pushed to the 80s.
There were a lot of those.
I heard something about that. Like, they couldn't get the tone right.
Yeah, you might be right on that.
So they just turned it into a comedy. Okay.
Changed it completely. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I like Leslie Nielsen. I don't know. Something. I'm not huge into that, and I'm not like big into like those. Not that this was him, but like Mel Brooks type comedies. Or that one. I don't know why.
Well, yeah, Airplane came out that year, and I think there
were a lot of good films actually that came out in 1980 that I had forgotten came out in 1980. If you go to IMDb and you look at the most popular films that came out in 1980, number one was The Shining.
Really? I thought it was Empire.
No, well, I'm just looking at IMDb. This is sorted by popularity. It's in ascending order, and The Shining was number one, and then Airplane was number two.
Yeah, it was a block.
And then that was followed by another crazy dumb comedy, Caddyshack.
Oh, yeah.
And then, of course, episode 4.
And
you mean episode 5?
I'm sorry, I read it wrong. Yeah, episode 5. And then the Blue Lagoon, which I had completely forgotten about that movie, but I remember it now. I remember it was kind of it was a bit, what's the word? Controversial, a little bit at the time because it had, Brooke Shields, and there was a lot of risque type elements to the whole story. And then the Blues Brothers, and then Cannibal Holocaust, which I did actually recently see. That is a brutal film.
Yeah, it is. It is very brutal.
I didn't know it came out. I thought it came out in the late 70s. I guess I was wrong.
Yeah, I had forgotten that too. It just popped out at me because I had seen Joe Bob Briggs did that on one of his little. Yeah.
So basically we could talk about The Shining. That was I guess you could say the first horror film to come out in the 80s.
Well, Cannibal Holocaust.
Oh, well, we forgot another one here. Not to interrupt. Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
That's that. I was scrolling down the list, and there was Friday the 13th. A film I do remember pretty well. I remember being very infatuated with it. Just kind of captivated by the visuals of it. Was Flash Gordon.
Oh yeah.
I love the soundtrack. I didn't realize it was Queen at the time because I wasn't aware of Queen, but I didn't realize until recently-ish that it was Queen that did the soundtrack to that. But I remember really liking that because it was so fantastical. And I thought that the guy who played Flash, Gordon, was really cute. I had a little crush on him. It's funny because he showed up. He was at our GalaxyCon a couple years ago, maybe 2 years ago, I think. And what happened was following his panel, the Guardians of the Galaxy cast was supposed to come out, but that was canceled because they didn't come. And the auditorium was completely packed, standing room only. And he was finishing up his panel. And I remember thinking to myself, I wonder if he thinks that this crowd is for him. Because it's not. It was for Guardians. And then I didn't
back, baby.
I felt a little bit sorry for him.
He must have known.
Yeah, if he knew the panel, I guess he would have.
It's funny though.
So the two horror films that came out for the start of the 80s was Friday the 13th, an iconic film, and The Shining.
I'm sure there's more than just two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cannibal Holocaust has a little bit of a horror.
The Fog.
Oh yeah, then there was The Fog. Okay, so there was a few horrors here and there. The Fog, directed by John Carpenter. Who directed Friday the 13th?
Sean S. Cunningham is his name.
Yeah.
Okay, and who directed The Shining?
Well, that's
Stanley. Yeah, Kubrick.
Okay, yeah. So for everybody listening on this discussion, there are these horror films if you're into that genre, and well, I've seen The Shining. To me personally, I was not a fan of it. Now, Friday the 13th is a crazy story because I kind of got spoiled by all the stuff that they were talking about because, Corey, remember when you were watching that DVD that was explaining the whole lore, I guess?
Oh, yeah. Were you here when they were talking about that?
I was recovering from...
That was last year? That was last year, right?
Yeah, I guess it was. And it's really like the lore itself is better than the films. Friday the 13th, like the lore of Jason and everything is better than the actual films. It's kind of funny. And the first Friday the 13th is not the best. I like
the second one.
Yeah, I like the second one quite a bit, and I like 6. It's weird. Like they picked like 3 not good, 4 a lot of people like, but I don't know. It doesn't resonate with me. 5 is bad. It's just bad, and 6 is actually pretty good.
I forgot what 6 was.
6
is
actually
when
like
to New York.
Do what?
When he went to New York.
Oh no, that's like 8, I think.
Oh,
it's
okay.
terrible.
Yeah, I saw it on.
Yeah,
it was playing a little while back.
There's some like humor to it, and you can tell like the production values just up the notch. I don't know. It's weird.
Cheesy.
The 6th entry,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, we'll have to watch that.
Okay, because I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, I never, I don't know. I've never really got into that series. I mean, from what I've heard from you, Corey, you said like they're not the best films.
They're just they're fun watches. And like I said, the first one. I mean, the best part of the movies is probably Jason, and I don't think this is a spoiler. I don't want to spoil nothing, but he's not really in the first one, so
yeah.
And then
the best part of the first one is the ending to me, but
then there's The Fog, which has to do with supernatural elements.
John Carpenter movie.
Yeah, Ghost Ship. I actually like that film. That was a decent film.
Yeah.
Another John Carpenter production, which is and he makes pretty good horror films. And then The Shining, which is a psychological sort of, I guess would you call it psychological? I mean, the main character or one of the main characters goes a little loco in a hotel.
I also think it's which version you watch, if it's more supernatural or psychological.
There's more than one?
There was one about 10 years after that they did. It was more faithful to the book.
Oh, okay.
And Stephen King.
Was that on TV?
Yeah, I believe it is. It's like a miniseries. It's a 3-hour.
Okay,
it's kind of like,
I vaguely remember that now.
I've not seen that.
And I think he said it was supposed to be more of a haunted house, and then Kubrick wanted to make more of a psychological film.
Yeah, I know Steven didn't want Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, and he, I think the car that was supposed to be in the novel, they show smashed up in the movie. Because they drive a different car.
I didn't know that.
I don't quote me. I remember hearing something. Like, apparently Stanley Kubrick and Stephen King really didn't like each other.
Oh.
And they got
my.
Yeah.
How awkward.
Just look it up.
I believe it.
Yeah.
It's just I didn't realize that.
Well, it's funny because
it's a strange dynamic because The Shining is it's pretty popular. It's considered one of the best.
Stephen King doesn't like it though.
I know that's so funny.
Yeah. It's because didn't he direct it in a different way than how the book was?
That's what they were talking about. Yeah.
Well, and he didn't want Jack Nicholson because Jack Nicholson is kind of already a little unhinged. just being Jack Nicholson, and I think he wanted somebody more, like subdued to go into that.
Mhm.
I don't know. I mean, I thought it worked, but
Yeah.
who am I?
But it's funny that The Shining would be number one because
Well, that's just the IMDb list. If you're going to go by what made the most money, I don't know.
I think
I was
Star
just-
Wars did.
Yeah, actually, you're right, because I did see a list of American highest grossing American films, and you're right. The Empire Strikes Back was number one at 239 million, and then
Speaking of Star Wars, to rock the 80s, Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. I mean, what else is there to say there? It was a continuation of the 77 film.
Mhm.
And,
was a good sequel. It was better.
Yeah, it was better, and it was darker, and it was also, I don't know, you kind of have this feeling of, what do you call it? Like, I remember when I watched the first one, like here and there when I was a kid, it felt more brighter, but this one felt more gloomy.
Dark. It was darker.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it wasn't like it felt like it wasn't the same anymore with what they were going through than like the previous film. It felt like there was just a lot of down in the dumps, trying to get away.
Well, because it had a down in the dumps ending. I mean, it kind of broke the formula of the first one.
Yeah, it really did. And I saw some interviews of people just saying, they liked it, or one woman said they liked it, but they didn't like the ending. I mean, it was a bummy ending. I mean, like a few years later we'll get it, but
it grew on me. I didn't used to like it, but now it is, to me, it is. I want to say Return of the Jedi is the best, but the Ewoks kind of kill that part for me. So I guess as far as quality of the story, I mean, I love the final showdown between Luke and his father.
Yep.
To me, that was really impactful, but the Ewoks are just.
They weren't going to be Ewoks originally.
Do what?
I think in the original thing with Return of the Jedi, they were going to be Wookiees.
No.
And then also,
what?
Sorry. No, I was going to say, don't forget, it's also a sequel to the holiday special.
I don't.
Yeah, I know. You can always insert something in there.
But like the Ewoks themselves, I think they're fine if they were used in doses, maybe. But like the battle scene with the Ewoks, I mean, I loved it as a kid, so.
Yeah, I mean, it does appeal to a younger audience.
Right, and the thing is, Return might have the greatest scene in the whole Star Wars lore, the ending showdown, but Empire itself kind of really went more into the lore with Yoda, and the Force and Vader. It just kind of I don't know, brought you more into that world.
I mean, New Worlds, the Empire, and also the Empire, they looked more like, I guess you could say, fascists, don't you think? They kind of had that style to them. I mean, they were in episode 4, but they came out more like a big empire with the music and all that,
You mean like with the marching armies and everything?
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
First time that that was introduced to everybody in 1980.
I don't know if Corey intentionally turned his camera off.
You there, Corey?
Yeah,
Corey, you there?
It's kind of like static.
Oh, that sucks. Well, I'm hearing some noise too.
Yeah, I'm hearing
but I don't know if it's coming from somebody else. Oh, you moved back into the sweet spot.
I don't know.
There we go. Yeah, I don't know where that clicking is
coming
from.
Back.
But
but yeah, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a little stuttery.
A little bit.
What I was going to say was that I feel like it was a better sequel. That like it was a better film than the one that came before it. Just like how I feel like so Superman 2 also came out in 1980.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I like that film better than the first Superman. I don't know if it has higher ratings, but it just kind of made me think of that.
Which cut's your favorite of Superman 2?
Well, I only have seen what I guess is just the one cut.
Oh, so you haven't seen the Dahmer cut?
The what?
The director's original vision for
No,
Superman
I don't
2.
think I have.
I think I think the ending was slightly different.
Okay.
He kind of I'm gonna have to remember what the difference is, but there were slight differences. It's kind of like what they're doing next year with the Justice League movie.
Oh, okay.
Where it's a little longer and there's some minute differences.
Okay. All right. I did not know that. Okay, so sidebar.
yeah.
I think that noise was coming from Matt Rice's mic. So I just tested muting it and it went away. I don't know if he knows that. I unmuted it.
Well,
you see how it picks up again?
Well, the thing is, the last time we did it, it was that noise was still around.
Yeah. So, Richard Donner. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I did not know. I've only seen the one.
Mm-hmm.
You still trying to figure it out, Corey?
Yeah, it's I'm okay now. We'll see how long it goes.
All right. Oh my goodness, your poor internet.
I know it worked. It's been working fine.
Oh,
I don't know. I'm back in the spot.
This mic is sorry. Oh no, it's okay. I mean,
No.
I was just testing something, Matt, just to see, and I think that strange sound. I do think.
Well, here's the thing.
From his end, so I don't know.
I don't know
if it's like background noise, maybe that's causing some sort of interference or something.
Well, it did this the last time when, well, here's the thing. When Matt left, when we did the podcast, I was still hearing like clicking.
I was still hearing some noises too.
I don't know, like what's up with that. But
I was gonna say, the TV I have on is really low, so I can check the TV, but I highly doubt it's that.
Yeah, I'm just hearing like a staticky. It's like a connection
or
something. I don't
it
know.
almost sounds like typing. I thought one of you guys were typing.
No.
On my end, so I didn't know.
It's to my end. It sounds like someone's moving the mic.
Unless
I'm
it's
not
the
at
static
all.
coming from my phone, because I don't have earphones in. But that's coming from somebody else, or I don't know.
I don't know. The bulk of it seemed to go away when I muted his mic, just because I was testing. I was trying to rule it out, and then it seemed to stop. And then so I don't know. I'm just wondering. Do you have earbuds in, Matt?
No, it's an actual headphone.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking. He had headphones.
Again, this is a horrible mic. We're trying to get a new one, so.
Yeah, he's been telling me that his microphone's not the best.
It maybe that's it. I don't know.
I mean, I can leave if you want me to. I don't mind.
I mean, no, you don't have to.
I was just trying to do some troubleshooting, just trying to figure it out.
How about I mute it for now, and then when I have something to say, I'll talk.
Yeah, that might.
That way you don't have to leave. You could still listen.
Yeah.
And if you feel like you want to say something,
got something.
I mean, I can type in chat too if you want me to. I don't mind.
Yeah, we could read it out loud.
Okay, because I just don't want to interrupt you guys. Sorry.
It's okay. Okay, so what were we talking about?
Well, we were talking about Superman.
Oh, it's still happening.
Yeah, I mean, see, that's what I was telling you. I heard it in the podcast.
Yeah.
Got Rice left. So that's, I mean, I don't know.
Are you using earbuds, Arturo?
No, I'm not. I'm using my microphone right here. Yeah, it's coming from somewhere.
Okay, let me mute.
Coming from, I was thinking
maybe it's me. It could be.
Or is it?
I'm going to mute you. I muted him.
Okay. Try muting me the next. I'm
not hearing it anymore.
Yeah.
So I You know what I wonder? Now I am hearing it.
Yeah.
I wonder if it happens with people who I unmuted you, Arturo. I wonder if it happens with people that aren't using like some sort of ear thing.
Yeah, I'm not using it.
It's weird.
Me.
I'm not using anything either.
I wonder.
Right.
I wonder if that would have to be a.
That is so weird.
So Matt, I mean, you could unmute your mic because it's coming from.
It's still doing it.
Else, so.
Sorry, it's playing something.
Yeah, this is. I mean, I heard it when. I mean, I heard it when we were doing the podcast. I mean, it wasn't to the extent, unless it's just like all of us together and it's kind of interfering with everything. I don't know.
It doesn't happen
for a second. Then
it doesn't happen
hard.
when Sound Booth does it. When Sound Booth Theater does it.
It sounds to me like when we all talk together, it makes it worse. I wonder. Don't you think? Like, see?
I don't know. When it's quiet,
I don't hear it anymore.
Could it be like some type of lag issue?
Maybe.
I wonder.
That could be me. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but we're
Or
still
a ghost.
hearing it. But I don't know. Maybe we should just do a whisper episode. Well.
Okay, what were we talking about?
I guess we'll have to put up with it until we figure out.
Empire.
Yeah, so we were
what?
Superman. It was Superman 2 that we
Yeah,
were
just
discussing.
because I mentioned sequels.
Yeah. I saw that it came out in 1980. I didn't know that, so I added it on the list. So was you say you like it better than the original?
I did like it better than the original.
Did you see it in the 80s or probably after when it came out?
No, I saw it in the 80s on tape. I saw it. I think I saw it with Lisa and them, Corey.
Oh,
with your family. I think I did.
Yeah, so Superman came out in 1980. I guess you could say that was one of the superhero films of 1980.
I don't know if there were any more superhero films of 1980. I have to see.
Well, Superman was the only one.
Scrolling down the list. There was.
Oh, go ahead, Matt.
No, I was gonna say a lot of superhero stuff came out in like the late 70s, and then it skipped. They had 70s Japanese Spider-Man came out in the late 70s. The 2 live-action Captain America movies, TV pilots came out in the 70s.
Yeah, Matt showed me a picture of like a 70s Captain America with a motorcycle helmet.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of that.
Oh yeah, all the spandex and the weird shield and the motorcycle helmet.
Lord.
Another thing that came out in 1980 was the Blues Brothers. I have never seen that film.
Oh, it's
have any of you guys?
I saw it.
I liked it.
Yes, I like it. Yeah.
Yep.
Mom.
I'm not a fan.
When I heard you say I saw it, I already knew like.
But it's very popular. I mean, it does have a pretty big fan base.
To me, quite a bit better than Airplane, just in my opinion.
Well, what's it about? I never knew what it was about.
Aren't they from Saturday Night Live? Wasn't it a movie they made about the Saturday Night Live characters? Or
yeah, but they're on like a mission from God, basically.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the mission is. It's actually kind of a musical too.
Was it saving the orphanage that they grew up in, or was it the church that they went to?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
And I just like when they got the mission.
It's good. I mean, I like it. I've not seen it forever.
I think
I vaguely remember didn't one of them like get pulled up, like a spotlight hits them and they get kind of pulled up and they're shaking.
I've not seen it in so long.
Yeah.
The one part that sticks out to me is the part when they're driving through the mall and like cops are chasing them.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I don't.
Yeah, they're in a car chase through the mall and everything. I remember that, and I remember a part when they go to like some honky tonk bar like in Texas or something, and they don't know any country music, so all they sing is like Rawhide the whole time.
Oh, jeez.
Like the theme song to Rawhide, because they don't know other country or something like that.
Yeah, I've never seen that movie. I mean, the only time I heard about it was I think in Drake and Josh. when they kind of did like a thing with it.
They
That's
like I
kinda-
said, it's kind of musical. So the Aretha Franklin's in it. Ray Charles is in it.
Oh, well, okay,
A few
yeah.
other, it's pretty good.
So I actually have one TV show that came out in 1980, and it went until 88. It was Magnum.
Magnum. Dun 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 dun
Yeah.
dun dun dun
Before my
dun dun. That was a good show.
Yeah,
I saw only like what you were watching, Mom.
Mm-hmm.
It does have that nice, relaxing
It's cozy.
80s Hawaiian,
Yeah, it's
place
cozy. I mean, it gives you warm fuzzies. It gave me warm
Yeah.
fuzzies.
Mhm.
That's what I felt when I first saw clips of it.
when did Dallas come out? Was that
Let me
before the
look.
80s?
Well, I remember.
That was
Let me
popular,
see.
like probably in 80, but I don't.
It was pretty okay. Whoa, seriously? It ran from 1978 to 1991. I remember, okay, so one of the main things I remember about Dallas was the whole Who Shot JR.
Yeah,
That was huge.
I know
That show was hugely popular. I remember Grandma was just obsessed with it, and I think it came on Friday nights. But-
Did you ever watch Magnum in the 80s, Mom, or no?
I saw episodes of it in passing.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew of it. And then when I went to live with Grandma for a little bit when I was going to college, and it was in reruns by that point, I think. And so I watched it probably more then. Let me look and see how long it ran.
Magnum, like,
Yeah, it was done by the time.
so he's like a war veteran from Vietnam.
Yeah.
And he's living in a celebrity's house, like part of the house.
I don't know if the guy is a celebrity. He's just a very rich man. And I don't remember what exactly he did. But he lived in the house, and I thought he was sort of in charge of like security type stuff or whatever. But he was also a detective. He would also solve mysteries for people. They would contact him and reach out, to him for help.
The show
anything.
What's that, Corey?
Yeah,
because I don't know much of anything of it.
I think you might like it.
It was really fun. It was comedic, but it was also serious, and it was a mystery. But what was really good about it was the interaction between the main characters. So you had Magnum, then I think he had a buddy named Rick, and I can't remember the other guy's name who was a helicopter pilot. And then Higgins was the guy who had the estate, and there was this funny dynamic between all three of them. But the dynamic between Higgins and Magnum was especially funny because Higgins was very straight-laced and very, just rigid and just very disciplined, and Magnum was not.
Yeah. The one scene it was a preview for the episode was whenever he fired that cannon and he looked all proud, almost like hit Magnum, and Magnum he's like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, it was the dynamic with them was really, excuse me, there goes my Terminator theme. That was what made it so much fun, was just the characters. They were pretty well fleshed out, and they had a really good chemistry with each other. They worked well together, in other words. So that was.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, go. I was going to say I was just going to reiterate that was.
The show, when each episode, it kind of reminded me of, cartoons where they'll have an episode, but then the next episode and then the episode after that, like they have nothing to do, almost like nothing to do with each other, sort of. It kind of reminded me of that, Magnum. Now, if the one episode happened here, it will follow to like maybe a few episodes later. That's what I saw when I saw my mom watching it. I would think I was kind of like, well, I don't want to give much away. There was just this one episode that my mom was saying that was kind of sad because something happened. But the next episode, it was almost like it didn't happen.
Yeah.
one reference to it, but not to the extent. And it's only until like episodes later that it's referenced again. That's kind of might throw you off a bit when you watch Magnum.
Maybe it was aired out of order. I don't, actually don't really even
No,
remember.
we watched it in order on Netflix.
But just because they have it in a certain order in Netflix doesn't really mean that's when it's
Yeah.
chronologically happening.
Yeah.
CBS does that. I was watching Jag on CBS because I wanted to watch NCIS in order, and it's a spin-off. And after you get past season 1, there's missing episodes.
Oh.
It's all copyright. They took scenes from other movies, and they didn't have the rights to show the episodes anymore.
Oh, wow.
Mm. But Magnum is a fun show, and it went on for about 8 years, and
Yeah, it ended in 88.
Yep.
it's because people got mad at what happened in season 7, I think. The finale.
Yes, and I didn't see it at the time that it happened when it first aired, but I did see it at Grandma's house a little while after, and I can see why people were upset.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he was ready to be done, but they came back and they finished it up and kind of brought it to a little bit of a more agreeable sort of conclusion than how it ended at the end of the other one. I mean, I certainly preferred the way they came back and finished it up as opposed to the way it had originally ended earlier.
But what's funny, see, Magnum, when I saw some stuff of Magnum, it just looked like almost like a cop slash detective work or dealing with bad. But then you have supernatural stuff to it.
There were some hints of supernatural things in it, but not very heavily. Just things like ghost, a ghost or something like that.
And then you have that one episode because see, the actor was going to be Indiana Jones. But
yeah, that's right. He was supposed to be Indiana Jones originally.
I can see that.
And they had an episode that was all reference to that.
I forgot about that.
He had the hat. He had the web. He had the coat.
That's funny. I completely forgot about that one.
Yeah, it was. I actually sat down and watched that one all the way.
I could see him being Indiana Jones, or could have.
Yeah.
But I think he was busy with Magnum.
I think it was probably that. I think that was the issue. It was a scheduling conflict, so he couldn't do it.
Right.
I mean, it worked out well.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Harrison Ford is perfect as Indiana Jones. So
it would have been interesting though, like what would have happened if it was alternate where it was him that did Indiana Jones. I mean, I don't know. But I have really nothing else to talk about the year 1980. Do any of you guys have something else to talk about? I know, Mom, you mentioned books, and Matt, you have anime.
Like I said in the last video, that was when they re-released Gundam as 3 films in Japan.
And
that was in 1980.
Yep, the show came out in 1979. The show didn't do too well in Japan, so they cut it from 50 episodes to 40. It was 43 in Japan, and when we got it, it was 42. And then they recut those 40 some episodes into 3 movies. And they made the movies the official canon of the series.
Yeah, there's a difference with the show and the movies.
They just don't mention certain things, and I think the ball and chain weapon in the show was taken out of the movies.
Yeah, they like some of it from what Matt told me, Mom. There was a bit of filler here and there in the show that was was it based on a manga?
I don't know if the manga came out first. I know they redid a manga in the 90s or the early 2000s. It just had a lot of filler, and I think the studio stepped in on certain things.
So wait, they basically meddled in what the director wanted to do with it?
I'm not 100%. I would have to look in on it because I know the books were different than the show. And there's an entire episode based on them getting salt for food. and all the refugees that were elderly go on a rebellion in one
Yeah,
episode.
you told me about that one.
Yeah, so it's stuff that people kind of thought were maybe a little too 70s. They kind of
Yeah,
they
270.
toned down.
And so then we got the 3 movies in the year 1980.
Yep.
Is that all? Is that all? Is that all the anime that you can think of from 1980?
I'm trying to remember if we got the Captain Harlock movie may have come out in '80. Arcadia My Youth.
Okay,
That then spun off to, I think it was SSX, which was the second continuity of Harlock, and we may have gotten the English dub around that time as well.
I'm pretty sure it was not the best because dubs back then.
Yeah,
it
it
depends.
didn't last in theaters very long. They pulled it, and on my Blu-ray copy, you have to select the English. The Japanese is the first language.
Because back then, I mean, you kind of had these studios that would kind of take it and then kind of do something with, like, dub it, but they
would
kind of get
dub
people
it,
that don't.
but they didn't know what they were dubbing.
Yeah,
so they
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, see, because Hollywood, they had actors that literally would dub something on, like, a Disney cartoon or a Hollywood cartoon, and they would get these actors that would literally dub it professionally. But when people back then, when it came to animes coming over here, they had to, they kind of got these people that probably were not experienced,
not very good actors.
Yeah. Back then, 80s and 90s, not so well. I mean, later in the maybe like late to 2000s, it got better, but this was the rough start for it.
Well,
but
there was one, I would have to find what the name of it is. There was one about cockroaches trying to take over in the 90s.
That's disgusting.
And they were human sized, and they actually got the actor that did Piccolo's voice in Dragon Ball Z as one of the characters.
Oh my goodness!
The original,
the I think it was the newer one, the one that also did Zoro's voice, but they didn't realize it was a comedy at the time. So when they dubbed it completely straight.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we had a bunch of that. We may have also gotten the Cyborg 009 movie also in 1980. It may have been 81. And it had the same thing. It was only in theaters for like a couple weeks and then got removed.
I didn't give it a chance.
No, the voice acting would be poor. Sometimes they wouldn't release it correctly. What was it? The Robotech movie a couple years later, where they actually took an R-rated anime and combined it in there and made it PG. It was only released on like TV screens.
I don't know how you could do that with an R.
No, they cut out and they put in other stuff from like a PG show. So all the R-rated material and all the R-rated language was censored out. So they just used it. They combined like 3 animes to make a movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
Clever enough to censor that and then make it PG.
Well, we never got the movie in the box set. That's because they lost the rights to the stuff that they took. Even though the company that had the uncut version also was doing the other movie. So it's a really weird thing.
So is that all the anime you can think of from that year?
I'm trying to remember if there's anything else from 80. There may have been like a few other...
You probably have to look up a list online or something to refresh your memory because there's just a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, the English states are different than the Japanese states.
Right, yeah, that's true.
Because we're a few hours off?
No, it was a few
years.
like
years as far for the dubs were available.
The Star Gundam movies didn't come out until like 2000 over here. They may have been released like intermittently through, but we didn't get like a full version until like the DVDs came out.
Yeah, that
Shar's Counterattack was 88 subbed, and then the English didn't come out until 1998.
That's like 10 years.
Yeah. It's just the way things were done. I mean, there may have been other versions out there, but all the official stuff didn't come out until much later.
Now, what about cartoons? Can we think of any cartoons from 1980? Because I can't think of any.
Any that directly came out that year, I don't know.
Wait, Droids? That may be a year or two off. The Droids cartoon and the Ewoks cartoon probably came out a couple years after that.
There was an Ewok cartoon. Okay.
But there's also a Droids
Let's
as
see.
well.
I'm looking specifically for 1980.
Did He-Man come out that year?
Well, I don't remember. No, He-Man actually came out in 1983. That's what I was
Yeah.
specifically looking that up, and I'm not finding
Bet
any.
you were.
Well,
Yeah.
what I mean is I was specifically looking up cartoons and specifically looking. I'm seeing here a listing of 80s cartoons, but I'm not seeing any specifically in 1980 that came out. Maybe there's, I'm not seeing it so far. So and Scooby-Doo, which would have been another one I would have thought of. That was the 70s, right, Corey?
Yeah.
69.
69.
69.
Wow.
Yeah.
God, it was that old.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But moving on to books, I was going to bring up books just because there were actually quite a few books that came out specifically in 1980 that ended up becoming movies. And I just found this list on Goodreads, and the number one most popular one currently ranked on Goodreads was The Bourne Identity. Jason Bourne #1 came out in 1980. I did not realize that it was that long ago. And then another one, actually, Firestarter, that was 1980. That came out in 1980. And Congo, I did not realize Congo was from 1980. That was a Michael Crichton book.
Yeah.
It was made into a movie, like what, in the 90s or something like that. The Mist by Stephen King, and Catch Me If You Can. And In the Name of the Rose as well, and also The Key to Rebecca. Those were just ones that I saw very quick that jumped out at me as books that had been turned into movies later on. Pretty like big name as far as I recognize. I don't think like The Key to Rebecca was a huge. I think that was like a mini series.
It's funny because the Fog one, the Stephen King one, The Mist. It's funny because that film wasn't made until what, like 2002, and Silent Hill. They took inspiration of the scene where this bat creature like burst through the window. Do you remember that scene in the movie?
I saw you talking about The Mist, or are you talking about Silent Hill? I only saw The Mist once and didn't pay complete attention to it. I was turned off by the ending. I just remember that much.
Okay, yeah. Well, it's funny because in that movie there was this bat creature that burst through the window, but a few years earlier Silent Hill did that because they got Silent Hill was kind of like an influence to Stephen King. And so bat
creature or spider?
It was a bat creature or something. But
in The Mist?
Yeah, in The Mist.
Have you seen The Mist, Corey?
I don't think I have.
They made a mini series about it, I think, as well. But they also made an actual movie.
Wasn't that 2005?
Was it 2005? I thought it was 2002. I could be wrong.
I'll find it for you real quick.
Is there any other books, Mom, that were made into movies? Maybe a show?
Oh my goodness, you guys! The Mist was 2007.
Okay.
I was scrolling down the list. This is just from Goodreads, and it's very possible that there were others that aren't on this list, but those were just the ones that jumped out at me as I was scrolling through. I'm continuing to scroll through it right now. Nothing else is jumping out at me as far as book to movie. Well, The Empire Strikes Back novelization, but that was just because of the.
We don't count that. It was a screenplay.
Yeah, I know. Well, they made it into a novelization.
I just checked with cartoons. There were 2 Spider-Man cartoons in 81, and there was a Spider-Woman cartoon in 79.
I remember the Spider-Woman cartoon.
Yeah.
I used to watch
I guess
that.
they go into 80. I actually just saw that Gundam, the show, went until January of 1980.
I have a list here.
Well, the Incredible Hulk was also still going on in 1980.
Yep.
Yeah, the only big ones I can think of the year 1980 is obviously Star Wars, and then the horror part with Friday the 13th, Gundam, Superman. But things don't kick up. I mean, well, it did kick up with Star Wars. It was basically rocking it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say one thing that's not anime or nothing, but it is 80. I was gonna go to SNL. So I think
SNL?
in 80,
Oh yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it didn't
Oh,
come out in
Saturday
80.
Night Live.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that what
It didn't come out in 80, but I was gonna say I think in 80. So Lorne Michaels left in 80, and they thought, we're down in the dumps. This is gonna be the end. But basically, Eddie Murphy came in, I believe, in 1980, and kind of like if it wasn't for him, that show might not still be around.
Might not have.
Like the dark days. So he was there from like 80 to 85, and I think that's when Lorne Michaels was gone. So him coming around, like I think in 80. So let's get this right here. Really kind of jump started his career that year. And really
interesting.
Really helped SNL stay afloat.
Yeah, so I forgot Saturday Night Live was a TV show, so
in 1980 he did. That is exactly when he joined.
Yeah, and he really if it wasn't have been for him, I mean, he was about the only good cast member at that time.
I do.
Gone.
Yeah. When did was Belushi still with SNL when he died?
I don't
know. And when did he die? I don't remember.
Was doing movies at this point. Blues Brothers. He was in the movies at this point. So I don't know. I don't know if he was still there in 80. I don't think he was. Because Lorne left, I think, in 80. You might have to look at right around that.
I'm looking up. Okay, he left in 79, right before Eddie Murphy.
And Eddie Murphy, luckily, kind of took over. And he was only 19, I think.
Wow.
I think he was only 19. Yeah. That was a pretty big moment for him coming in. I could be wrong, but you might want to look that up.
Nope.
No, you're exactly right. It said he began doing stand up in New York City as a teenager, and he was only 19 when he joined the cast of Saturday Night Live. Holy cow!
Man,
yeah,
I completely forgot he was that young. Maybe I knew it at one point.
That's a big. Like I said, that show might. There's a lot of people think if he wouldn't have jumped on then, when it was really down in the dumps, coming in the early 80s, I don't think it got good again until Mike Myers got on there and Adam Sandler and Dana Carvey.
Dana Carvey.
Yeah, Murphy really helped carry it there for about 5 years.
Well, it also kind of jump-started his career as far as becoming nationally known.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So
for sure.
It helped the show, plus it helped him.
Oh yeah, it was a win-win.
Yeah.
I mean, he became more of a movie icon than a SNL icon, even though he's both.
Right.
And I think they might have had some beef because I know he didn't return to SNL until a couple years ago for an anniversary.
There was a falling out. Something happened. I forgot what it was. I remember hearing about that.
It might have been a skit that was done about him.
Oh,
Maybe
really?
He took it too personal. I cannot remember. I'm not sure if that was it or completely it. It might have been David Spade saying something on a skit, but I don't know if that was really it or I don't know. He might.
I'm reading here that he was upset over some jokes made at his expense. When he left the comedy series, he seemingly was not opposed to eventually making a return to the show. But in the mid-90s, you're right, Corey, it was David Spade making a joke about a career rut that Murphy found himself in during that period, like in the mid-90s.
Yeah, which he was.
Yeah, and so and they even got a copy of I guess the apparent clip of this thing anyway. So it hurt his feelings. He got hurt in the feels really bad, and so he said that they were shitty to him on Saturday Night Live a couple of times after he left the show. They said some shitty thing. There was that David Spade sketch. I made a stink about it. It became part of the folklore.
Right.
So Yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying he probably took it too personal.
Yeah.
Being a comedy show, but at the same time, I mean, like I was saying, that show probably wouldn't even be there anymore if it wasn't.
Well, and it probably felt like a little bit of a betrayal.
Yeah,
you know.
So, because like
So
I said,
can...
that was after the first 5 years, and then you really went to like not good, without him. So, but either way, he became a huge movie star,
Yeah, and
Was
he's
there any good Saturday Night Live episodes of 1980 that you can think of, Corey?
Well, I mean, he had a lot of classic, like he'd do James Brown, or he would do Buckwheat, or he had a lot of different.
Did he do Stevie Wonder too?
Yeah, Gumby.
Yeah.
Stevie Wonder. Yeah. So, but I can't remember exactly when was what.
Yeah, like specifics.
Yeah.
Can I interrupt?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
I found some 80s kid shows.
Kid shows?
Yeah.
That came out in 1980 specifically?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Super Friends came out.
Oh.
Yeah.
I kind of remember that. Yeah.
And then they have Richie Rich.
Oh, I had forgotten about that.
Oh. And then they have the Richie Rich Scooby-Doo show.
Okay.
Richie Rich and okay.
And then they had Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo.
Oh yeah.
Was that when Scrappy made his appearance? Was 1980?
Yeah, and then they have a lot of, it's like a lot to name off, but they have a lot.
Interesting.
Wait, so what character in Scooby-Doo showed up in 1980? Was that the gray dog?
Scrappy.
Scrappy's
the little, yeah, the puppy.
Yeah.
A lot of people hate him.
Yeah, I heard.
My mom, I think, didn't like when he came in or something. I don't know.
I didn't mind him. I didn't mind him in the Boo Brothers and crossover with Scooby-Doo.
Forgot about that one. Yeah.
I don't know when that one came out, but there was like a gray dog that same size as Scooby.
Was he a cousin? No, who was he?
I don't know. He was like a detective because he was doing like. Do you remember that one episode I watched constantly about a vampire in a hotel? You remember that, Mom? I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't remember that. I don't remember what that dog was. Do you remember, Corey?
But wasn't he portrayed to be like kind of dumb? The dog.
I think, yeah, like he got out of a coffin or something. They were hiding to capture the vampire, and he came out with his
magnifying glass.
Yeah, and he like bent over and he fell, and I guess blew the cover.
He was from another show. I just don't remember which one.
I know
that.
Wait, that wasn't the one from the Falcon or something. It wasn't the robot dog, was it?
No.
No, this is that gray. I think he wore like a red hat. Did he wear?
Yeah.
Did he wear a detective hat?
Yeah.
Was it?
Like a Sherlock hat?
Yep.
I'll look him up.
I don't know if that maybe did. So maybe the little one appeared in the 80s. I don't know when he.
Oh, okay. His name was Scooby Dumb.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He was kind of bumbling. He was like a bumbling idiot.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I remember that scene when he leaned over and blew the cover. I never forgot that part.
Were there any like superhero characters coming out in 80? Like any significant?
You mean like comics in the comics or movies?
The Wonder Twins.
The Wonder Twins
may have been.
Okay, we'll count them. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I just didn't know if there was some big.
Elektra came out in 1980.
Okay.
I mean, that's
she
a pretty
was.
Big deal.
Yeah, she's kind of. I mean, that's one that I recognized.
Elektra. Let me see.
She was Daredevil's. She was Daredevil's lover. From the movie.
Yeah.
They made that. Wasn't Jennifer Garner in the film?
Yeah, she played her in the movie. Comics characters introduced in 1980. They have a whole Wikipedia article, but let me see. I don't know what type of comics are they referring to.
I mean, didn't you read comics in the year 1980? How old
I
were you?
did, but the comics that I read, they had characters that had already been long established, like Spider-Man, Batman, Wonder Woman,
Yeah.
Spider-Woman, the Dazzler. I don't remember when Dazzler came out, but I used to read some of her comics.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Electra
I mean,
Strong.
I'm pretty sure there's a ton of stuff that came out in that year. It's just I can't really.
She came out in 1980.
Huh.
She was introduced in 1980. She Dazzler. She first appeared in X-Men, Uncanny
Yep.
X-Men. I used to
And-
like her stuff.
And she was in the last Dark Phoenix movie that came out last year.
Oh, yeah. Wait.
I didn't real. Did she? I never
it was
saw
a 5-second cameo.
Oh, okay.
Randomly, there was no big thing.
You have to be a really big fan to know that was. Did she come out in roller skates and playing music or what?
She was singing in the woods. It's like a 30-second thing.
Huh.
And
Wow.
I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
I stopped watching that movie after, I think it was shortly after Mystique got killed, and I was glad Mystique got killed. But
there was
movie,
a segment in the woods where they're all at a party, and she has like a 5-second cameo.
Gosh, I totally didn't know that. I mean, I wouldn't watch the movie just for
You
that,
should watch the entire film now.
No.
No.
There you
No,
go.
Sophie Turner was such a horrible casting choice for Dark Phoenix. I just can't. I never liked her cast in that role. And so, and then just some of the stuff going on in that movie, it was really annoying. Mystique's attitude,
look, you're like
her feminist, craptastical attitude, you know, the little speech that she gave to Charles in the movie before she died, and just like there are other people on YouTube who have done a much better job of explaining how ridiculous
it's like, are you
that whole thing was.
X people.
But Jennifer Lawrence it grates on me now. Like, she annoys me now. So to watch her aggravates me. So I'm just not. That's why I was glad she died. I'm like, yay, good, she's dead. By that movie, she had worn herself thin for me.
Well,
she got way bigger than we should have.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Well,
she
I
did.
guess the Hunger Games probably why. I didn't think about
She's
that.
extremely overrated. I thought she was really good in the Hunger Games, and I love those movies. They are very good movies.
That's probably
But
why
she is very overrated. She got this Oscar for Silver Linings Playbook, and her performance in there wasn't all that. I mean, it was just, I didn't even think it was that great of a movie. And I think,
but I've not seen it since it came out.
I mean, it was. I mean, I wouldn't. I only watched it just because there had been such a big deal made of it, and it wasn't even that awesome. I didn't think. I thought that was, but then I think a lot of Oscar movies are overrated too.
I didn't like. I think she's in this. No, maybe she's not. I didn't like American Hustle. I don't know if she was in that or not.
Yeah, she was in that. Yeah. She played the wife of Christian Bale, and she very famously made a snark about his body because he had gained weight for the role. And she was saying something like, "Oh, I'm finally in a movie with Christian Bale. I get to kiss him, and he's not Batman. He's Fat Man." Was this snark that she made, which would be fine if she hadn't gone around criticizing the whole thing about body shaming. Then she turns around and does it, and it's like, but you know, at that point, she was starting to really grate on my nerves. I was getting. It was just like things just went to her head too much, and she just got real loudmouthy about stuff, and it's just it just kind of wore me down after a while. I was like, I'm not a fan of this. I don't care.
I like the Hunger Games. I don't like her as a person.
Yeah, I don't care for her too much as a person, but she was good in Hunger Games. I felt like the Hunger Games adaptation was extremely well done.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can't think of any other like 1980 show or movie.
I mean, there's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna get going.
Okay,
Matt.
All right. Bye. See you, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's a ton, and
there's a whole bunch. I mean, we could go on and on. I mean, I didn't realize how extensive material there was from 1980.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're still getting started because we still have 81, 82, 83, and onward. I mean, a lot of great stuff that comes out.
And we thought this year would be the most, I don't know, blankest
Which,
of all of them.
right, because it's kind of like
Yeah.
the start. But there was if you go down and look at the movie list, there were some other horror movies that I recognize on that list that I liked. Well, there was Dress to Kill. I was going to bring that up. There was Dress to Kill, which I remember watching a long time ago, and I never forgot the twist because it was so shocking at the time. It had Michael Caine. Michael Caine was in it, and Angie Dickinson, and I can't remember who else. Maybe Nancy Allen, is that her name? Maybe the girl from RoboCop.
I think 81's going to have a lot of horror. But
Yeah, probably.
I mean, okay. The year 1980 had a lot of great stuff. Like, I mean, Star Wars. Let's not forget that. That was the start of everything for the 80s. From then till 89. Yeah, you had like a classic, you know, Friday the 13th.
Prom Night was 1980. Jamie Lee Curtis had like these were two. I mean, she started to become known as the Scream Queen. Sorry, Artur. I mean, I'm going down looking. I'm doing a search.
I think you told me that came out in 1980.
Did I mention that earlier?
Yeah. No.
The Changeling with George C. Scott.
What?
The Changeling with George C. Scott. Maniac.
Maniac was 80.
Maniac was 80. The Inferno was 80. Saturn III. Altered States. There were several. Just this list of, I think, maybe the top, I don't know, 50 or 100 films ranked on IMDb. There were 14 of them are listed as okay, so like 1 through 50. 14 of them were horror. Motel Hell. I mean, these are things that play quite often on Shudder.
Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of horror through this decade.
Christmas Evil, Death Ship.
Wow,
a whole bunch, yeah.
Why did I think? I mean, besides the bigger ones, why did I think that we weren't going to talk too much about the year 80? Finding more stuff about the year.
There's just a lot of there was a lot of good material. What were you saying, Corey?
I was just asking if you had seen Motel Hell.
I have. It's played on Shudder several times.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I couldn't tell you how it ends. I just recognized the name.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be more of a slasher, and I don't think it was. It's been a while since I've seen it, but it was just strange.
Is that the one where they were like burying bodies out in the
like a garden?
Yeah, in their garden or something like that. Yeah.
Like their heads are out of it. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. That's funny.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, a lot of horror there, and we'll have more throughout the decade.
Oh yeah.
Big start to it. That's for sure. I mean, obviously the bigger one was Friday the 13th.
Yeah, Friday and Shining. I mean, that's the big two.
Yeah, The Shining is number 1, and then Friday 13th is next. There was also Christmas Evil. I think that's been playing on Shudder. But yeah, the top one is what?
Let me see here. I was trying to look when this was. No, this is 84.
Which one?
4 years.
Silent Night, Deadly.
Silent Night. Yeah, I've seen that.
I don't know why I was thinking that was.
I did not figure that would have been 1980 for some reason.
Yeah.
Maybe because I remember noticing it when it had initially come out,
right?
As video, and it was well after 1980.
Well, I guess is that I guess a wrap for the year 1980.
So you're fixating on what's that, Matt?
Pac-Man came out in 1980.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, games.
Yeah.
You haven't even touched on games, you guys.
Forgot.
Yeah.
All I know is Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, like this was a section for the movies and the shows, and then later I'll do something about the games.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but I
I
did.
think Pac-Man's pretty universal though, to where you can bring that up at least.
It is. Mm-hmm.
There's a Wikipedia link, 1980 in video games, and they have a list of different ones. So
Probably not a ton, but
But we'll save that for another day.
Yeah, you guys can do that stream.
Yeah. Yeah, but so to wrap it up, yeah, the year 1980. Surprisingly, I mean, well, besides the famous ones, did not expect there was a lot more than just what we were going to initially
Even
talk
more than
about.
that, too. I mean, there's only so much we can talk about.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm sure there's a lot. I mean, I saw a ton more stuff, but they weren't like, I don't know, like they didn't get the best rating, but they were kind of like also on the list as like, I guess
I was gonna say I think the Sony Walkman came out in '80.
the movie. Oh.
No.
It's the Walkman, kind of like the old iPod. I think it might have been '79, but it was a different name or.
Oh, it was okay. Yeah, it says the original Walkman released in 1979.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but
I
what
don't.
name?
Let me see. I'm looking it up.
I think. We didn't even talk about music really much, but
no, we just.
did a
I mean,
little
we just at the very beginning, just a little tiny bit.
yeah. I think the first, if I could be wrong, maybe I think the first, Arturo, I think the first #1 hit of the '80s, I might be wrong, is the song I sung as the Evil General.
Oh,
That
Please Don't
wait,
Go by Casey and the Sunshine. That might have been the first.
That's a song. That's a song.
yeah. No, you're absolutely correct.
Okay.
It was Please Don't Go, Casey and the Sunshine Band. It
January.
reached, January 5th, 1980.
Oh yeah,
and this,
yeah, babe, I love you.
it was only #1 1 week.
Yeah.
And then Michael Jackson was January 19th, Rock With You, and that was at #1 for 4 weeks. They have a list of Billboard Hot 100, 1980. Oh my goodness, that's Funky Town.
When did Pina Colada? Maybe that was '79.
Are you talking?
Pina Coladas?
Oh, who is that guy? Who is that?
Can't remember his name. I think it was a one-hit wonder.
Oh, really? Okay.
That might have been like the last of the '79, or
let me look.
I don't know.
Well, now that I think, like every time I think of that song, I just think of you doing the Evil General version.
Okay, it was actually the Pina Colada song. It says release year was 1982.
82. Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was Rupert Holmes.
Okay. Wow, 82.
Yeah.
I thought that was earlier.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Arturo, you need to close it. No, I was gonna say you need to close this out with the video of him doing that, but you're probably gonna get a copyright thing. You'll have to dispute it. And
what? Oh, you're gonna play music?
singing that song.
Okay.
The Evil General, the one. No, the video that you took of Corey doing that crazy dance as the Evil General. And he was cracking himself up. He was doing that.
Singing to your soldiers. That's what they want to hear. The Evil General.
I'm like Cher in that music video with all the Navy soldiers. You know
Yeah.
Is that the one? If I could turn back time?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Oh my
me.
gosh. Well, at least
the
you
Navy
didn't wear
soldiers.
like a see-through type of outfit.
Yeah, that's me.
Well, I guess that's about it for year 1980. The next episode we will do 81, which a lot of more great stuff. I mean, we all know.
I think each year is going to have some interesting
Just
things
wait till
that
we get like, I mean, just wait till we get to like 84 and 85, like the meat of the 80s.
Yeah.
Even
Exactly.
That's why it's called Rocking the 80s.
I'm just saying, I think 80 probably still is the most vague of the years, and there's still a lot there, though.
Yeah,
there is.
exactly.
So the other years are really going to be.
Like, I found out some stuff that I did not know came out that year.
Well, me too. I didn't realize some of the stuff that I looked at. That was surprising to me.
All right, well, I guess I'll end it there. I'll stop.
All right.